Hello everyone, today I'm working on this nice SD45. It's actually in super good shape. There isn't much to do on it. It's missing the horn, but other than that, it looks brand new. I bet you I put it on the track, it runs great already. Let's try it just to see. Well, it sort of kind of wants to go. Maybe it needs a little bit of cleaning. Well, this is what I'm good at. So just take the insert from my box and I lay the steps on the side there, and we'll remove the shell. So everything's good with this. All the handrails are there. It's converted to micro trains already. I just have to find a horn for it. And then the drive system, everything's there where it should be. These are really good runners. That's why I buy them. I really enjoy them. I like the looks of the SD40, SD45s. Your contact strip's gonna fall out when you remove the gas tank. That's okay. And then I just have to remove my light shield and my lights. So I put everything in my box as I work on this, so I don't have to look for parts. And then I just have to undo the 2 screws. Work better with the Phillips screwdriver. So remove the screws, remove the other screw, and then these trucks have an arrow, so that makes it easy to put them in the correct direction once they come out. You do not want to pry too hard on these. Lots of times they get broken, and I do not want that. So geez, I just put my screwdriver at the end. That will give me enough room to have them fall out, so I don't have to risk breaking them. And then I'm going to push on these little pins to release the top side of the frame. Alright, so this is the non-DCC frame, but that's what I use. I use the DC. So it looks pretty good actually. Just gonna put 2 drops of oil just to say that I did something. Since I have everything in my hands, may as well. And then I'm gonna work on the trucks. You've seen me do this before countless times. I just like the sound of these engines when they're running perfectly. It's such a treat. A lot of the engines now come with DCC and sound. It's pretty clean to begin with, honestly. I don't think there's too much problems with this, just a little dirty. So I'm going to run this. I'm going to take the wheels out, but the gearbox, this gearbox here, I'm going to run that under my tap with my toothbrush. Same with the side frames. And while I'm there, I'm going to do the same thing with the shell and the gas tank. I'll be back. So I just cleaned my wheels with my rag. That is the way to get in there and get everything off for optimal performance. Your track has to be clean as well. That goes without saying. If the track's dirty, probably your train's not gonna run. There, squeaky clean. Then I put everything back together. I like to start with the middle one, but there isn't much of an order to it. You can cheat a little bit. And the two contact strips, they act as bearing as well. That's why it's so smooth. There's little pins that will hold it together, and you have to be mindful of that. When you have it in its place, it just sits there perfectly. And you can test it with your finger just to make sure. Then we'll put the side frames on. And that you will hear it click. And test it again just to make sure. Well, no, that wasn't so bad now, was it? Now you can see this one's not clicked. So there you go. That looks pretty good. And I'll do the other side off camera. Now I can put everything back together. It's going to be pretty straightforward. Just the two frame halves go back. And I won't put my screws in just yet. Now the engine cradle will snap in there. So I take my time when I do this. I want to make sure that it goes back nice and smooth. Just going to help these little pins a little to get in there. Don't forget about these two insulators here. You definitely need them. And I'm giving myself a little bit of slack so I can just slip my trucks in there, which they will go. So check your arrows before you put them in. So they'll just go in there. Just gonna spread the frame just a little bit. Sometimes I get them where they're broken, just because people went too quick. Or on the subject of going too quick, I'm gonna put my contact strips in here before. So because I kept my stuff in my box, I don't have to run around too far for them. All my stuff's in there. So that's half the work right there. You don't have to look for parts. These are held together by the gas tank. So before I put the gas tank, that means I have to hold them with my fingers. This engine's not been molested, so everything fits perfectly. The contact strips, you can get them where somebody bent them. And not the end of the world, but I like the way they come from the factory. So if somebody bent them to have them put more force, usually I bend them back. So because I don't want to hold the contact strips anymore, I'm going to put the gas tank. The fuel filler goes towards the cab. So that will hold that. And I make sure everything's lined up properly. But that looks good. Everything looks good. So I'm going to put my two little screws. Don't forget the two light boards. And a little light shield. Not necessary to have the locomotive run, but it makes it look way more realistic. So now we can work on my missing horn. So I don't know if you've seen my videos, the most satisfying N-scale video ever. But that video, I was able to get some horns for all my engines. So that definitely helps the look of the engine. I took a minute to paint it green, and that is going to make it look like a factory unit. I believe on these the horns were black, but I wanted mine to be green. Definitely will add to the realism. Just a little detail. So all that's left to do is put it on back with the drive system. That should go back nice and easy. Perfect. And now it's time to run some trains. The Reading was merged into Conrail in 1976. So this makes a great early Conrail locomotive. Hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.